From NBC News in Washington, Meet the Press with David Gregory.
And good morning. If you needed a reminder about how important the economy was in this presidential fight, we got it on Friday. Worst day for the stock market in 2012 after that jobs report came out. And how did it play over the weekend? Not well if you're in Chicago and you're running the Obama campaign. 69,000 jobs lost, questions about whether this recovery is lagging, and steep fears and jitters about what's going on in Europe. That's where the debate is as we move forward, as there are more jobs reports coming out between now and Election Day. Here with me this morning, Democratic Governor of Massachusetts and author of the book Faith in the Dream, Deval Patrick, and the Republican Governor of Ohio, John Kasich. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning, Dave.
So, Governor Patrick, here we are.
We were just giggling at the setup. We didn't know we were here to face off.
Yeah, well, that's it. You're here. Like it or not, you're facing off, and it is about the economy.
They attack you, Dave.
Yeah, well, that's always an option. Let's look at the record here, because we're looking at the economic record of President Obama, and here's the jobless rate as you go back to when he came into office. Up and down we go, right. And now it's going back up in terms of the unemployment rate, right. 8.2% for May. Here's perhaps the most daunting chart. If you look at 3 straight months where we've seen this decline in job creation. In February, it was looking better. Then you see March, April, and May. Right. Not very many jobs being created. Governor Patrick, is the president, because of the economy, the underdog again?
Isn't it funny that we talk about the economy in political terms, or about the unemployment rate in political terms first, without talking about the impact on working people and families and the communities they live in? Job gains are always good news. 27 straight months of job gains is great news, but we're never going to have the rate of job gains that we need until the Congress passes the jobs bills that the President's put before them.
And we know that that's the silver bullet. How?
But, we need to talk about that, because it's, I know from my business experience and my government experience that investment is what creates jobs. In Massachusetts, we're investing in education, in innovation, in infrastructure, and that's how we've moved from 47th in job creation to one of the national leaders today, and while we've turned around an income decline when Governor Romney was in office to an income gain today.
Right. You had stimulus, though, right, Governor Kasich? We had federal stimulus from this president.
Well, look, the problem we have, David, I'm going to tell you honestly, the numbers they frighten me, because I believe we're going to see, in all probability, some unemployment increases in Ohio. We're down to 7.4%, down from 9.1%, which is great. But these job numbers are terrible. And I agree with Deval when he says it's about families, because if you don't get families to work, you create real moral problems in your country.
Here's the problem. But we understand that it's about families. This is a debate in the campaign about who's got the chops to turn the economy around. So that is a political debate.
Here's the problem. When you have uncertainty that people face today, when you're talking about higher taxes, when you have this enormous debt, when you over-regulate, people are uncertain. If you're a small business person, you can't deal with uncertainty, so you sit on the sidelines. If you're a big company, you don't know what you're going to do. You sit on the sidelines. So the talk about higher capital gains, higher income taxes, this enormous debt, highest debt we've ever seen in our history, which leads us to conclude, or business people to conclude, that means higher taxes. You got an EPA that is, overly zealous. You have Obamacare. No one knows even what the rules are. You have Dodd-Frank. No one knows what those rules are. The rules are so thick you could write many encyclopedias with them. Companies see that and they say, we're out of here. And that's the problem.
Where is the confidence? The governor talks about a lack of certainty. Where is the confidence that people have in this president?
I think John is right. There is a certain amount of uncertainty, and that comes in part because the plans that the president keeps putting before the Congress get ignored. Those are plans we know work. The business community is expecting higher taxes because they understand that is part of the solution to dealing with the deficit. Every economist understands that as well, but we can't get the Congress to act. And that's the problem. What we have right now is a Congress which has decided that there is a political advantage in stymieing this president, putting ideology ahead of country. And that is what this election is about, and what has to be rejected.
David, in 1997, I was the chief architects of the balanced budget. We didn't raise taxes. In fact, we cut capital gains. We also balanced our budget, paid down the largest amount of debt in history, You know, we were running huge surpluses. And that was, you know, raising taxes, that's not the problem with Congress. Frankly, this whole city is dysfunctional, you know, and the executive is not leading. You can't, it's like blame, I'm an executive in Ohio. I can't blame the legislature for things not getting done. I have to accept responsibility. And you know what? I've led, and I've worked well with the legislature, and we've gone from 48th in the country in job creation to number 6. We've created over 70,000 jobs. You have to lead. And frankly, here's what I think the problem is, Duvall. You being a businessman, I don't think they know what they want to do. Some temporary jobs bill, that was what stimulus was. It didn't work. The idea that we're going to have a temporary tax cut, that doesn't provide any certainty. You know what they need to do? They need to say, we're not going to raise taxes. We might close some loopholes. We should bring down the rates. We're not going to kill investment. We're going to streamline our regulations, and we're going to have certainty.
All right, so part of the debate is who's got the skills to turn the economy around.
That's correct.
Now, you're saying the Congress has got to do its job. You're not really talking about the president's record, the positive or the negative. You've also been dispatched this week to go after Romney's record in Massachusetts. He came out of a tough economic environment. The unemployment rate dropped while he was governor, but he was 47th in the country in job creation. Not good enough, in your view.
Well, that's not good enough, and frankly, you know, no executive in government can do their job without the partnership of a legislature. That's been true in Massachusetts. That's been true in Ohio. The president needs that partnership here. The president has bucked the trend. He's turned job losses into job gains. That's important. No one, including the president, believes that these job gains are coming fast enough. But it's clear that he has bucked the trend, as distinct from Governor Romney, who rode the trend. In fact, trailed the trend when he was governor of Massachusetts. Doesn't mean he was a failure as governor, but the fact is that we had a stronger economy then. We were out of recession when he came to power, and he trailed the country.
But help me understand the logic here. Can I just say, help me understand the logic here. There was a recession. Massachusetts came out of that with rather anemic job creation, but the unemployment rate did fall. You say that that's a failed economic record. You're saying in President Obama's case that that's his calling card, that that's a success.
I am saying that in point of fact, when Governor Romney was governor of Massachusetts, incomes were declining in Massachusetts while they were increasing across the country. That we were behind 47 or 46 other states in Massachusetts in job creation at a time when the economy was relatively strong.
Yeah,
and the
you've looked at this.
Excuse me, John, just to finish. And the difference is that that Governor Romney was following a trend of relatively good economic conditions in the country at a time very different from now, where President Obama has turned that trend, has bucked that trend, and we're getting job creation where we're getting job loss.
Let me first of all, he wasn't 47. When he took over, he was 51st. Counting D.C., when he left, he was 30th in the country. He created tens of thousands of jobs, and the unemployment went down. But here's what I find really interesting. You have a president. He opens up with Bain Capital, attacking on that. Now they're trying to attack Romney. Let me ask you a question. What is the president for? I mean, unemployment has gone up. We have 500,000 Americans lost their jobs, the largest debt. The politics is terrible. When I started in Ohio, it was terrible. You know what? We're now getting bipartisan support for our bills. And that's called leadership. And I don't dislike the president. I've been with him. I like him. But I don't understand what their plan is. So when you don't have a very good record, you know what you do in politics? You attack your opponent and try to shift the blame. What the president needs to do is come out and say, how are we going to repair this economy? Stop blaming Congress. Remember, he was the guy who was going to unite the country. And he can't go to class warfare and everything else.
Well, but that's rhetoric. Do you think Congress has a role to play now?
Of course they do.
Well, what is the role that they can play to stimulate the economy now? If we're heading toward a spring-summer slump, what can government do? You believe in government intervention in Ohio. Well, in Ohio's economy, you're doing it.
The town's dysfunctional. Okay, it's dysfunctional. And without leadership from the top, what they really need to do is the president and Harry Reid and John Boehner need to put the country first. I mean, they got very close, I think, to being able to reach an agreement. If they had just agreed on, if they had closed loopholes and had they lowered rates instead of talking about class warfare and the top 1%, that's just nonsense stuff. That class warfare has never worked in American politics. It didn't work with McGovern. It didn't work for Gore. Stop demonizing and separating.
Do Republicans have to accept accountability?
Of course they do. I mean, you think I'm happy with the fact that I left Washington and the Republicans that controlled everything blew the budget up? No. And look, I mean, but the fact of the matter is, David, I hate to tell you this, I'm not voting for anybody for president who has never been an executive. In business and in government, you have to be an executive. You don't run a company from the board of directors. You don't run a government from the legislature. It is up to the president to lead. He's not led effectively.
Governor Patrick.